people. Their entire Lufthansa airline trains down at Goodyear. So I don't know if you guys are familiar with them, but they're all over the south part of the airspace.
Well, they're down at that. Is it Mobile? I think is there.
Yep, Mobile is
practicing.
Their practice. German Air Force has a field down there, and I see them in and around Buckeye as well too. I brought some sectional charts here that show you the biggest issue with air parks around this area, of course, is the SATR, which we'll talk a little bit about. The SATR, the Special Air Traffic Area, and hopefully, my RAPCON guy said he had a squadron function, couldn't make it, but that's okay. Because the good thing is I have lots of contact information here, which you guys can call at any time, go to the website at any time, and by all means, if you have a question, please let me know. I'll leave some of these for the other guys too, if they want. So give me a call anytime. So, yeah, we'll go ahead and begin. This is a very informal, so just stop me at any time, ask questions anytime. I've got some fun videos, educational stuff, and if you're in the neighborhood at Luke, give me a call. Maybe I'll show you a jet or two. Here's the F-16 up close and personal. If you see it at this aspect and angle and range, we're all in trouble. But if you've got this kind of closing vector on a Viper, take a gunshot. This is me. I'm the Chief of Flight Safety at Luke Air Force Base. So out of the 140 aircraft there, 400 pilots, both instructors and students. I try to make you and I keep as much distance as we can from each other and keep the communication open. So if there's any questions with you, friends you know, and procedures we use, or like if you land and say, hey, I think that was a close pass, and I don't know if there was good communication, give me a call. Let me know. I'll track it down. The good thing is, for the pilots on my side and for you, I'm a safety guy. I'm not a lawyer. I don't work for the FAA, and I don't do anything with violations, so we'll keep all our ratings safe. I really just want to prevent any bad things from happening. And here's one of the reasons why they train crash investigators like me, is because we keep crashing aircraft. It's tough to see here, but in the F-16 and general aviation, we have our F-16 losses, about 25% of our losses are due to midair, which might be a bit high or surprising. We have 25% of our controlled flight into terrain, like I was telling you guys about single-man rules for a low-altitude aircraft at high speed is tough. And 12% spatial disorientation. Well, this 25% midair, my bosses were really surprised by and are overall lost. And that accounts for pilots in general aviation accidents, fatal accidents. The pilot was about 79% at cause. So mechanical is not the reasons why in general aviation we lose pilots, and in the F-16 why we're losing aircraft and pilots. It happens to be midair, and guess what? It happens to be us pilots that tend to cause it. So these safety things are fairly important for both my leadership, who wants to save money, and for us to keep ourselves alive. Okay, I put a few videos in here because, of course, it's fun and keeps everyone awake on a morning. Here's a little bit about an F-16 heads-up display and camera video. This is what I see in the glass displayed in front of me. Indicated airspeed, or actually calibrated over here, 312 knots. Some information here is he's approaching 2.7 miles to, hold on a second, 5.9 miles. He's pulled 2.7 Gs very recently. He's currently at 1 G right now. The timing information right here, this is going to be a flyby at the University of Phoenix Park there for a football game. So, of course, we've got to get the flyby timed with the end of the national anthem. So timing is key. We have a guy on the ground who is our forward air controller calling in our flyby at the end of the national anthem. We have a MSL altitude displayed over here, and kind of like would be like a tape measure. And this is our radar altimeter right here. So he's about 3,000 feet above the ground. He's heading 147, so not quite directly south. And like you said, there's a little diamond over here. So that's the University of Phoenix stadium right there. So he's talking to people on the ground. He's also talking to Luke Approach, and he's about to approach the Glendale area. So as we all know, in and around Phoenix airspace, there's about 8 to 9 strips of significant size, and Glendale's one of them. At 312 calibrated, it's a fairly slow speed for us down low. Even then, you can imagine at that speed, if we point out traffic, what you're going to hear, there's audio on the computer?
Yeah.
Okay.
From right to the TV.
Perfect. You'll hear, oh, go ahead.
I was just going to, is anybody talking to this other airplane?
Yeah, he is talking to Rapcon at the time.
Class B.
Yes, and he's talking. Rapcon is talking to Luke. The problem is with the light civil aviation is that he's not necessarily following a direct pattern. Where, yeah, and these guys are coming in as a 4-ship F-16s. In this case, we happen to be about 75 feet from each other, so 4 of us very close together, good and bad. Our normal combat flying, says I can draw on your wall, right? Our normal flying formations, and we always travel in pairs. So if you see one, there's another one. And this is typically going to be 1 to 1.5 miles directly line abreast of each other. This is a combat formation for us. It allows us to use our radars without co-channel interference, something where the electromagnetic variation gets in there. Now, our ultimate fighting formation is 4 aircraft. And typically, especially down low, they're going to be about another mile and a mile and a half in trail, if not more, and a mile and a half apart here. But they're going to be offset, so once again, we have clear radar look through without interfering with the guy's radar in front. So if you see one, the idea here is that if you see one, there's about a 3 to a 5 mile bubble in which that other airplanes could be. And we're moving pretty fast. So if you saw one, don't try looking exactly at that same spot. Maybe try looking a little bit in front or a little bit behind. But at 350 is our min airspeed down low, below 2,000 feet. 350, yeah. Our tactical speeds below 1,000 feet AGL is right around 500 to 540.
So you get waivers to
Indicate. Oh yes, oh yes. And in reality, it's for mission essential, but it's also for our training. Come on in, guys.
Good morning.
Hey, morning. How's it going? I'm Matt Tieman. Nice to meet you.
Craig Allen, nice to meet you.
Craig. Matt Tieman. Nice to meet you. Hey,
William Crichton.
Matt Tieman. Nice to meet you. If it's come up,
Chair over here, chairs over there.
yeah, we absolutely just got started. And I just lost a bootlace here. You guys all from airparks around here? Thunder Ridge. Okay, cool. Awesome. I brought business cards here, little introductions. They call me Sling Blade. If you've ever seen the movie, that probably explains a lot. Mentally retarded serial killer. And I'm the chief of flight safety, naturally, for Luke Air Force Base. So they're chief crash investigator, and I'm in charge of making sure we don't run into each other. So we just got started. A little bit of introductions about Luke. Luke Air Force being a military training base, the largest training wing for F-16s in the world, and the biggest Air Force base in the U.S. Air Force. So what it is just a whole lot of airplanes flying really fast. And I am not here to represent Luke Air Force Base in any way, especially since he's videotaping me, on the status of the F-35, but it is supposedly coming here. It is a preferred alternate. I don't even know what that political term means. But the F-35 is probably on its way. So what that means to you, more aircraft flying faster, and oh, by the way, most civilian radars won't be able to see it. It's stealth. So go figure, it's going to get better. But what we're talking here is I'm about to show a video of a near miss between light aircraft and Glendale airspace, talking to Luke Rapcon at the time. And what I was also briefly writing up here is that our typical formation, F-16s go out in no less than a 2-ship, and more than likely a 4-ship. And down low, this is our formation of choice. Mile and a half line abreast, and then another 2-ship, slightly offset from them, another mile and a half. So there's about 3 to 5 nautical miles that if you see or get a point out through flight following that there's an F-16 or a four-ship F-16, be on the lookout. And notice that I'm an instructor pilot there and have been for a while at Luke. We're teaching young kids how to fly F-16s. And we were discussing earlier, only our two-seat models are about 10% of our fleet. So I'm doing the instructing of this guy over here from my position over here. So his heading and altitude and speed control could be a bit varied. Okay, so just because the F-16s were reported to be at 4,000 feet, he could be up where at 6 or 8, and it'll get there really fast.
Are you visible on TCAS?
I am visible on TCAS because I will be squawking. Only one of us in this formation will be squawking because we'll be in a tactical formation. But you can see me. One of the myths I do dispel is the Air Force never supplied us TCAS and thought it was really not an essential thing. If anything, we have other things we use in certain combat situations that gives us a little bit better SA. But we don't have TCAS.
Will the F-35s have them?
They will have something very similar. Very cool.
Will you be able to see them on TCAS?
Yes, you will. They will be, especially in transiting, squawking mode 3 and C, and yeah, you will be able to see them. And the issue, of course, with TCAS is that at the speeds and vectors that we work at, you could be in a MOA. I could have situational awareness on you, like our biggest issue is the Gladden-Baghdad MOA. You know, it goes quite high, and you're more than legal to transit it, but that MOA will go down to 7,000 feet. In Gladden-Baghdad, it's our primary air-to-air training area. So I might be dogfighting a student, listening to RAPCON, tell me about a MOA transient over here at 10,000 and go, okay, that's nice, while trying to watch this guy not kill himself with G's and trying to hit me. So by all means, if you're going to go through the MOA, just definitely talk to someone. We'll get to a little bit of that. All right, so back to where we were. This is that near miss about the F-16 HUD. This is calibrated airspeed 312. Like I said, they're trying to make the end of the national anthem based on a time and talking to a guy on the radio. So he's going a little slower than he wants to. Faster is better. He's at 1G right now. He's pulled 2.7 in the near recent past. 4,000 MSL over here and 3,000 for the radar altimeter. He's heading 147. These are pitch ladders. So he's in a somewhere about a 7-degree dive. This is University of Phoenix Stadium over there, and he's heading 147. Flight path marker there, a little airplane thing, is your vector. So wherever that points to, if you do nothing else, the aircraft will fly there and crash into the ground. So that includes or crash into airplanes. So we will see this and how fun this one was.
Total 1 Fox, 3 miles maneuvering in Windows class Delta, experimental aircraft 3000.
Spec, let's search it to same crew 3000.
Flight 1 traffic, total class less than a mile.
Sorry about that, guys. Come back in.
You see that?
Yeah. Spike, see what you back in?
That was pretty darn close. Let's see that one more time. He's going to come from over here and go right through.
Spec, let's search it to same crew 3000.
Flight 1 traffic, total class less than a mile.
Sorry about that, guys.
That was really close.
Come back in, middle Z. Close pass. Spike, see what you back in?
And the bad thing about that, like I said, is getting ready for these flybys. We try to do these really cool formations where we're, 5 feet away from each other. So they're hanging at about 50, 75 feet when he starts jinking and jiving, and as his airplane goes diving through the formation. Now, in that instance, he was in class Delta Aerospace talking to the tower, and we were cleared to transit through it. But it's just still going to be very tough. So lookout is key. Keeping that cross-check going and keeping your good pilot skills up. Making sure you have an integrated cross-check and checking outside of your flight path and where traffic is going to be. And you heard the call out there was off his nose for 3 nautical miles. That's not a lot of time for an F-16. So we talked about me. We'll talk a little about the F-16 mission and Luke's mission overall. Like I said, we're instructors to the future F-16 fleet out there. Where we fly, how not to run into us, and how we try to avoid you, and we'll talk about the SATR, which can be of importance.